I've owned all 20 of these tools for over 6 months now, and I've used every single one of them to give you a proper review on how the tools handle, and I'm going to mention a few of these DeWalt tools that I want to replace with a different brand of tool. On top of that, this was a $6,500 combo kit I purchased from DeWalt. And I've had a lot of questions asking how much would everything cost if I bought it individually. So as I go through and review each tool, we're going to have a running cost of the total price of what all of this will cost if we purchased it separately. Starting with my impact driver at $269 AUD. As impact drivers go, they are all roughly the same. They do the same job. I love the feel, the hold of this tool. And apart from looking at a few defects in the body, we can see some rubber's been torn around, it's got a few scratches from heavily using it. The tool still operates perfectly. I've got a high torque impact wrench for $449 and a mid torque one for $359. As a carpenter, I'm always going to be using this mid torque. This high torque impact wrench is just way too powerful for anything I use. I've used it a couple times when I've been fastening steel columns together, and that's a job that I really ever do. This mid-torque impact wrench though, I've used this a lot more and it has been amazing. No problems with the design of how it works at all. I've used it, dropped it, abused it, and it was working great. For $339, I've got DeWalt's cordless planer. I've done a full separate review on this tool, and you can click on that. All the reviews I've done on these tools are in the description if you want to have a look at them once you finish watching this video. This tool's awesome. I love using a planer without the cord. The only problem with this planer though, this continuously blocks up with wood chips. I'll use it and plane 1 or 2 studs and it will be completely blocked in here and I have to empty it out. No matter what setting and what depth I use it on, I always run into this problem, and I've never had a planer like this which jams up so often. For $399, I've got DeWalt's Jigsaw. And this is an amazing tool to use. I've used this a fair bit over the last 6 months and I've had no problems with this at all. I will make full in-depth reviews about individual tools. Right now though, I'm just going to quickly go over if there's been problems with them. $299 you can buy DeWalt's oscillating tool. This thing is a ripper of a tool to use, especially with its quick blade change, just pulling this lever down here. One problem which I've encountered, which is happening right now, is they kind of get stuck in there. So you can see I had to give it a bit of pressure, a bit of a push to get it out. Not on this oscillating tool, but on my previous one that got stolen, I did have 2 of the teeth snap off as I removed bits. And obviously that's not going to be great. The more teeth that start to snap off, soon it won't even be able to hold anything. $239 gets you this orbital sander by DeWalt. It works just as great as orbital sanders do. I'm just not a fan at all with how you hold and grip this tool. And especially when I'm trying to sand and the tool's vibrating on me and I'm trying to apply pressure, this tool is just awkward and it cramps at my hand using it too often. I normally just use my oscillating tool and do a sanding attachment on that. This router here costs $309. This is fantastic. I love this tool. The only problem I have with this, being an Australian and using the metric system, is all the gauges here are imprinted in the Imperial system. Obviously for all of you US watchers and anyone that uses the Imperial system, that's awesome. But on every other DeWalt tool I've purchased in Australia, they do have the metric system printed on it. So I don't know if this is a one-off and my store just stocked the wrong one or what's going on there. Maybe they don't have routers with the metric system in this design. That's the only complaint I have. Performance-wise, it is awesome. These 2 guns are where the problems come up. For $655 you get the framer, for $599 you get the laminate trimmer. This finished nail art, this was one of the tools I was most excited to use. When I purchased this collection, I went and made a review for it straight away. I was so excited with it. There were a few problems when I made that review, and since then, they have become worse. One of them is that the nails just keep jamming up constantly. I'll get quite a few shot without any jams, but then when you're doing such delicate work, you're trying to do finished carpentry, a nail shooting or 2 nails shooting and jamming, it just ruins the work you're working on. On top of that, I've had so many problems trying to slide nails into the magazine. The framing gun lasted a lot longer than that. I've had about 6 months worth of use of this, and now it's getting to the point that it's starting to jam. Let's say maybe every 30, 40 or 50 nails or so. So I get quite a few out, and then it might jam. I'll need to use my Allen key to open it up, clear the jam and keep working. I do think though, battery nail guns are still imperfected. They do have a lot of work to go. And if you do want a good reliable gun, you will need to go with pneumatic gun and use air hoses. That being said though, I still love this framer. I use this framer a lot, even though it does jam. I think I might just need to get a spring replacement, give it another good service and hope that its performance increases after that. This is a cool accessory I never would have purchased by itself. For $219, you yourself can buy this tyre inflator. I've had times before when my work ute has hit a nail, my tyres had a slow leak, and I needed to pump it up just to drive it down to get it patched. This thing here can pump up my tyre for me. I know I've got a compressor I can also use, but I don't want to plug in my compressor, load it up, when I can just put a battery on and plug it into my tyre and pump it up. On top of that, I use this out of work a lot, pumping up footballs. If I've got any pool floaties, I can pump it up with that. It's such a cool, handy thing to have, especially in DeWalt, since I'm always carrying and charged DeWalt batteries. This is another tool I never thought I would have needed. Once I bought it, there's no going back. I use it so often. This is my laser level 3 laser level for $689. You can see with that price tag why I didn't want to run out and buy it. But this thing has been amazing. I've used it so much over the last 6 months. I've treated it with care and it hasn't faulted me at all. The lines are still perfect. It's calibrated to the T and I love this tool. It does also have a 2 amp battery in it and it came with the charger, which can be used to charge any of these DeWalt batteries. This is my circular saw for $449, and this is actually the tool that convinced me to switch from Milwaukee to DeWalt. I love the power in the 54 volt saw, and just the whole handles on it, the visibility you have to see what you're cutting. This is the best designed circular saw I've ever used, and I've used quite a few of them. I think that's one of the most important tools to have as a carpenter, as cutting timber and making sure those cuts are neat are one of the most crucial part of the job, and I want to have the best performance, best user-friendly saw in the market, and in my opinion that's that one. For the exact same price at $449, I have the angle grinder by DeWalt. Now this one here has been awesome. It's been covered in dust. There's been plenty of reasons for it to stop working on me, but it keeps powering through with no faults at all. This rotary hammer is $648. It's another tool that I would not have spent so much on. I probably would have lowballed it and got a model down from this, but I am so happy that I have this in my collection. The anti-rotation system on this is next level. I thought it might stop working so well after using it for so long, but it is amazing. If the drill bit gets caught while drilling, it's not going to fling around and snap your wrist. It's going to save you every single time. This is another tool I've used so much and I've flogged it around, and it has been awesome and nothing wrong with it at all. This Recipro cost $399, and with this tool, it's just put the total price of everything so far over that $6,500 that I spent on it. And obviously we still got a few more things we need to go through, which is going to keep bumping the price up. This is another exceptional tool. I'm just going to put it back down. There's nothing bad to say about it. It works great. Here is my DeWalt radio, my T-Stack radio. $399 for this radio. It works pretty good. It has some problems with connecting to digital radio. Well, I've noticed other radios don't have those problems, but it does outpower other radios with how loud it can go though. The connection has been a bit of a problem at times, but nothing too bad that can't be fixed by moving it around. I'm super happy with this. Only problem is I've lost a little knob to turn it off and on. It's just fallen off, and now we've got a little small, awkward to use dial. Not saying it's DeWalt's fault for that. That might be my fault for just not treating it right. This is another handy to have tool. DeWalt's blower for $122. This thing's quite handy to use, but it doesn't have enough power to properly give work sites a good clean that I would like. That's what you're going to get though when you buy a blower for $122. And on top of that, I have had problems with these attachments falling off while using them. Another handy tool for $179 is DeWalt's torch. This thing is so powerful. I take it with me camping anywhere I go at night, and it's one of the brightest torches I've ever used. That's it for tools. Now we'll jump into the batteries, the chargers, the accessories, and we'll add those prices up as well. Let's start with these two 9 amp batteries which I've got on the base of my nail guns. These 9 amps, you only use these for your 54 volt tools such as my saw, grinder, Recipro, and rotary hammer. They're often heavier, bigger tools you want to use, but I don't want a heavy 9 amp battery. The difference between the 9 amp and 6 amp I think is huge, and I would have preferred having the lesser battery, the 6 amp battery with this kit. In price though, they are $239 each, meaning that both of them are worth $478. They are still great batteries to have, and I still use them when I need to. At the front here, I've got my two 5 amp batteries, and these work on every single tool here apart from those 4 54 volt exclusive tools I mentioned, being the recip, saw, grinder, rotary hammer. So I use these two batteries for basically everything, and Putting the math together with only these 4 batteries here, 20 tools, using them all day, we are going to have problems with batteries running out and dying. And that's one thing I can't get over. With the amount of tools they deliver in this kit, surely they could have added at least another 1 or 2 batteries. Those 5 amps are 139 each, meaning 278 for the both of them. In terms of chargers, we've got DeWalt's fast charger over here. This is awesome. It charges batteries super quickly. Hence the name Fast Charger. This costs $209 to buy separately. Then we've got our box here that my rotary hammer comes in. This is one of the T-Stack boxes which have the clips that can put all these other boxes on top of them. It's a very handy thing to have, but it does cost $85 to buy it outside of the kit. I do also have 2 of these heavy duty DeWalt bags. They do cost $118 each, meaning $236 for the 2 of them. They have been awesome. I've thrown them into my toolboxes, dragged them across gravel, dragged them through work sites, stored so many things in them, and they haven't ripped, zips haven't broke. They are super heavy duty and they are great. I love that I had them. I would not have purchased them by themselves, so I'm happy that they came in this kit. I'd almost forgot my drill. One of the tools I should have started with. I use this thing almost every single day, and this is another tool that I haven't had any problems with. If you look at it, you can tell it's been used quite a bit, and it still works as good as the day I bought it. This costs $399, meaning that all of these DeWalt tools in front of you cost $9,154. Australian dollars, that is. That is mind-blowing to see that we've saved over $2,500 on all of these tools by buying them in a kit. If you enjoyed seeing all these DeWalt tools in front of you, I reckon you will love seeing this video when I first bought them and was unboxing them all when they're all shiny, clean and new. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to see some more tool content, some more carpentry content, make sure you click subscribe as well, and I'll see you in some future videos.